Alex, what did you think of Barbarian?
I literally said under my breath, this feels like Hereditary. Feels like everybody's pumped this movie up to be something that it's not.
Well, this is where obviously I will disagree with you because I think Hereditary is a classic in that sense. No,
Hereditary is not a classic.
You're not equating these movies.
I'd watch for Barbarian over Hereditary any day.
Fuck? Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. You like
pizza time?
Pizza time.
Alex, my friend, how are you doing?
I am well. Ed, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm pretty good.
There's
a lot of. It was a little dry in terms of movies. I'll say that. Although we did get to watch one.
Yeah, we did get to see one this week. That was something. I love your new setup, by the way. I love the back. I love the lights at the back. It doesn't do your camera doesn't do it justice. You must have some sort of wide angle lens on it because it looks like a tiny ass TV. And I know for a fact it is not a tiny ass TV.
No, you're 100% correct. Yeah. It's well, obviously it's like we have the same TV. It's
the
LG
same
CX. Yeah. It's 65 inch, but it's just how far I am. It's actually quite a distance back. That's the actual reason. It's literally on the opposite end of the room. So it's like, I don't know, like 10 feet away. It's pretty far.
That is pretty far.
That's the whole reason. But thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're doing some like little move around here.
Yeah.
Moving things around. I've been happy to say that like this dual office setup that was once my wife's and mine is now fully mine. Because she's taken over the whole goddamn living room.
Yeah, she's moving up in the world, so she needs a bigger space.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Fair trade, and I get my little man cave.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
First of all, that helmet right there. That go back to your shot. Yeah, look at that. Go Power Rangers. Oh,
it's wonderful.
Yeah,
and here's the best part. I got that shit for free.
Mm-hmm. When he told me that story, I still didn't know Ed very well. And we started just talking randomly, I think, about Power Rangers. And I feel like I said, "Oh, have you seen that helmet pack?" And Ed goes, "I have it." And I was like, "What?" Yeah.
I remember the conversation. Yeah.
We have to have a Power Rangers centric episode one of these days with a friend we used to have.
Yes,
who used to work with us.
Who's the other Power
Seamus.
Ranger? Oh, Seamus. Oh my God, just the biggest freaking Power Rangers nerd I know.
Yeah. We could do like a ranking of them, the best seasons. I mean, I'm not caught up on all the seasons.
Me either. No, I'm done. We could do up to like, I don't know, season like Dino Thunder or something, please. Because I think that's the last one I know.
Yeah.
Forever. Yeah, forever. Okay, we can do it. Yeah, okay, fine. Fair enough. For at least.
Yeah, Forever Red. Oh.
At least.
Man.
Creamy.
Central.
Yeah, it was great. And that'd be a good idea. We could rank the best themes. That'd be nice. The best Rangers. We could do a whole thing. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But there is like a little cool tidbit with that helmet though, and why I got it. It's because my ex-boss, and I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants to know, like people to know that this is like has to deal with him. But my ex-boss, the reason why he got that helmet is because he actually auditioned to be the Red Ranger for I forget which season. I believe it might have been like Lost Galaxy. He auditioned, and one of his friends down the line remembered that, and so gifted that to him. However, he actually doesn't really care about Power Rangers. Okay. So when I worked for him, I saw that. It was just like up in his like just shit pile. It was just there, and I literally went. I had like a small gasp, and I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, that." Oh, I don't know, some Power Ranger thing. And at first I was thinking, it's just the bus. It's just a helmet. It's not it's not the collection. Yeah. And so I was like, can I see that? And so he pulls it down. And as he pulls it down, the fucking CDs on the back of the head fall out because it's like actually really tricky. Like it's very slippery in the back because the CDs are on the back of it. And they fall pretty easily, and they all fell out. And the moment that happened, I was like, ah! I was like freaking out because one, I hope they weren't like damaged. Two, I was like, safe. Holy shit, that's the one. Like that's the thing. And I was like, and he saw it in my face. He's like, "Do you want it?" I'm like, "Yes." And
can I just give it to me? Have it?
Yeah, can I please have it? He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm not gonna do anything with this." I was like, "Oh my God!" Like probably one of the biggest random come ups in my life. And if you're a Power Rangers fan, you know why. And so now that's just sticking with me forever. It's like worth like $300 nowadays.
Yeah, that's a collectible. That thing is dope.
It's easily collectible.
Yeah.
But anyone who knows me knows that I keep my collections. I rarely would ever sell them. So that's a big come. Anyways, nice little tidbit there.
What a flex.
But yeah, thank you. And I want to, I'm keeping up with the tradition of changing our backgrounds every fucking week.
Yeah, every TikTok video we've posted, there's like a new background every time, it seems. Because I'm just picking and choosing from like different episodes. And one time it's my Shelby background, and then it was just the blinds. And then
the blinds.
There's one from my house back in Texas. When
R.I.P. the blinds and the blinds background.
Yeah. Hey.
The dungeon.
The blinds
background.
needed to go away, man. Jeez, that was terrible.
Hey, the brick stayed though. Look at that. The brick stayed.
Brick stayed. Yeah, look at that.
They're
not
and
bricks
I love it.
In a sense of like how you would actually stack bricks. They're bricks on their side.
You're right. Hold on. I just realized that
it's a piece of like wood paneling that I bought at Home Depot, and like I set it up this way, and it doesn't fit up from to the top to the bottom because it's
so you had to turn it on its side.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who aren't looking, who can't see the video, his background is bricks, and I just realized they're completely turned on its side. Like no way that naturally they would do that. Yeah, it's super funny. Holy shit, that makes it like 10 times better actually. Yeah. I love it. That's so funny.
So yeah, but that's all right. We do what we can.
It looks awesome. It looks awesome.
So anyway,
this is also still going to evolve. I have a lot of other things to put up. So
yeah, Ed has a lot of shit.
I have a lot of shit, so be prepared. And a bunch of LEDs still.
That's his middle name.
Yeah.
A lot of shit.
And a lot of shit-zilla, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's not a lot of shit?
What?
The things we're going to talk about this week on the podcast. If you would allow me to. Yes, segues, baby.
All right.
If you would indulge me into what we're talking about today. We have not too much, which is nice, a little lighter day, but that's pretty good. Yeah. Let's start with some news first. We're going to cover the big one that came out this week, which is the Avatar 2 trailer number 2 for the Avatar Way of Water, which is coming out very soon. And we're
about a month away, almost.
About a month away.
It's November 5th, so a month and like 8 days.
Yeah, so it was appropriate that they dropped this really amazing trailer that we're going to get into right at the top of the show. And then some small MCU news with Wonder Man, which is one of the more fantastical names of a hero I've ever heard.
Yeah.
There's a Disney Plus show coming for that hero. I don't know much about it, but we read a little bit about it, and we can maybe give you a little bit of rundown of what to expect, maybe. Mm-hmm. And they've also announced who will play Wonder Man, who is Mr. Turn Around and Stare himself, Weird Stare from Aquaman. If you don't know, Yahya Abdul-Mateen is playing Wonder Man. So we'll dive into that.
Aquaman.
And then fucking, I hate that scene so much that I love it almost. The last piece of news now comes from Sony, which we rarely ever hear from, but it is the Sony. There's some Sony Spider-Verse news. Would you brought up today, Alex?
So some quick little news. Sony's got sent out a tweet that's got people kind of excited. So we'll talk about that, and then I guess we'll jump into the main topic after that.
Absolutely. The main topic, the main movie today is that we actually have a review for y'all, and that is for the movie Barbarian, the horror film that has been getting rave reviews. I mean,
right? I mean, people are saying this movie is a horror classic. That is all
classic.
Time. That is all time great. That it reminds them when horror was horror. I have thoughts.
I do too. Oh, so why don't we keep it there then?
Yeah.
To let everybody jump into our review later and get everybody excited. So let's keep it there.
Yeah.
Let's holster and let's start off with Avatar 2 trailer. So, I mean, this trailer dropped back on what, Tuesday was it? Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday early this week.
Yeah.
And I at this point, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. I mean, you don't have to really do much, in all honesty, with Avatar. Such a big IP that's been around for over a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think. But this trailer, unlike the first one, did show a little more off of the story slightly. There's some more words that were spoken, unlike the first one, which was very much music and sound effects driven. And then you just, again, even more lush, beautiful visuals, which the one thing I have to say for this is that it's going to win the Oscar for VFX just from the trailer alone. Like, it's not even it's not even going to be.
Oh, wow. You're putting it in already.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look, 100%, dude. Just from the water effects alone, I'm like, that's it. It's done.
We got a movie with some pretty good VFX already, and that was some Top Gun Maverick.
True, 100%. But you wouldn't like.
I guess you wouldn't
throw a riot if this movie didn't win for Oscar. Yeah. Anyways, the Avatar trailer. I want to get your thoughts on it. What did you feel about it?
So yeah, I think I felt pretty much the same as you did. As like when I woke up, and I have this beautiful Pixel 7 Pro that I just got.
Ooh.
And guys, oh yeah, this is the back from D brand skins, I believe is what they're called.
Dude, I do D brand skins too. They're the best.
It's like we were meant to be podcasters together.
It's my Steam Deck skins.
Oh, that's right. That's why your Steam Deck looks so cool. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm about to order some for my PS5.
Aren't they cool? They're
great.
They're easily the best skin. I mean, we are not sponsored by D brand, but D brand, if you'd like to sponsor us, they're easily the best skins, the coolest skins, and they're easy to put on.
Yeah,
I love that. Anyways.
And yeah, I mean, the worst part about the phone was the back feeling. It was this like glossy metallic finish that was like super hard to hold on to.
Yeah, it was going to slip.
Totally fixed. Anyway, besides the point, I woke up and I was like watching it. It was like, I get up early. It was like 6 a.m. So I was watching the trailer on my Pixel 7, which has this amazingly great panel to watch on it. And then I watched on my TV, and then I watched on my great monitor for work. And I said, Jesus, praise. I watched it 3 times before I even like paid attention to what was happening in the trailer, because I was just like, look at this world he's created and how beautiful it is and how lush and vibrant, and just like, you look at the scene where she's got the bow and arrow and then it kind of zooms out and she's pregnant. And I really thought it was just nice to be brought back to the world of Pandora. Along with this news, it also news that this movie will be 3 hours and 2 minutes. I'm in for every minute of it.
That's fine.
But yeah, I had the same thought as you. It looks like it just looks so beautiful. Yeah. And other than that, I think they've done a really nice job with these trailers. I think you have to keep as much of the story secret, because I think the story is almost secondary for these movies.
I wanted to ask. Well, we know the classic sort of critique of that movie is that the story was like Pocahontas, which you and I both agree, shut the fuck up, because no one cares that you think that. It doesn't matter because the movie is still great.
Exactly.
Well, the question I wanted to throw to you was, we got a little bit of story beats here, but they are keeping it a little low. They're definitely still going totally full force on the visuals to really grab you in, and fair enough, that's fine. But I wanted to get your take. Like, what do you think the story is about? The small snippets I got, narratively speaking, from this were that I believe we hear Sigourney Weaver's voice as the daughter. Is that right? Is that her? Okay.
There's like some sort of like she's doing something to her voice, or they're doing something in post your voice to make her sound younger. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's good acting or post production. But yeah, you hear her voice, and then there's that like really nice beat. Like, what does her heartbeat feel like? And she says,
yes, that whole the heartbeat thing.
Yeah, and then it cuts into like a little bit more action stuff. From a story standpoint, I will say there is one thing I am kind of worried about. Not like bad worry. I'm worried Jake Sully doesn't make it out of this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the rest of the movies? For
the rest of the time, I'm very worried that Jake Sully doesn't make it out of this movie.
Okay, give me why do you feel so?
It seems like it's all about family and all about bringing together these new two. Obviously, the one tribe has to use the other tribe to form an alliance to fight these. Well, I guess they're back. I think they're called the RDA. That's what they're called, I believe. Yes, the RDA. They're the RDA. Okay. So it looks like, and they've adapted to what looks like fighting and being able to fight in the water. And, the Na'vi were able to win in the first one because of, nature and the animals all coming to their defense. I think they'll get that again in this movie, but it does seem that like not everyone's going to make it out the way the way the trailer feels and the way it's been edited. It makes you think that, I don't think Jake Sully's making it out of this movie. He's going to lead them into battle and he's going to die, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I wasn't even thinking on that level yet, and you know what? I wouldn't put it past them to do that because as particularly for movies that have the sort of that have mapped out their sequels, the second movie typically goes the darkest because that's what makes the third movie brings up the stakes and makes it the most triumphant. So, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe lost more than Jake. But the question I would have is then. I hope they have some contingency to keep us there for like the next couple of sequels, because there aren't a lot of humongous names. Well, there's humongous names now because it's been 15 years and like the likes of Zoe Saldana has like skyrocketed her career and stuff like that. Right. But without we still is what's his name Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington, yeah.
He's sort of fell off a little bit. I don't know if his career really skyrocketed since then. And maybe I don't know. That's the thing. Well, here's a question I would have for you though. We have 2 more sequels after this one, I think, at least, maybe, right? 3 more sequels.
I think that's planned to Avatar 5 already.
Do you think that the franchise needs after this something else, like a new star, a bigger star than Sam? Like, what do you, or no? Do you think?
I think that's an interesting question because do you think for normal audiences they're going to be attracted to this movie because of Jake Sully?
No, see, and that's a good question too. Is like, or a good point is that even more so now, younger people don't know who Sam Worthington is because his career didn't launch. Right. So, the question is like, well. Unless the movie's just that fucking good or they have new stars on here, which I don't believe they have anyone that's particularly, on the cusp. Will we need it? Will they need it to grab a certain demographic of the audience? I don't know. I don't know. I've never really thought about it till this moment, until you mentioned it. Yeah. And it's a very interesting move. Like any studio would tell you yes. Yeah. Right? Any big studio tentpole film would say, you need somebody big
to latch onto, right? Yeah.
But I don't know. Avatar 1 did just fine, even with, they did have Sigourney Weaver, obviously.
That's true. Mostly nobodies. It does the way that the editing happened and the way the beats kind of happened. It made me think that, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's Neytiri that doesn't make it out. Maybe it's one or the other. And maybe if it's Neytiri that doesn't make it out, that would start an all-out war going forward. So
that'll be crushing. But yes.
And it would be crushing. Like these guys, they lose their mother. He's got to be the father and the mother. So it could be interesting. But
maybe other than that, both. Maybe we lose both. And in the sequel, the 2 kids that are clearly going to be the big are going to be a big central part of the movie may grow up, and then we have new actors that are a little bit they have some names to them, and then
if they lose both, wouldn't it be a massive blow to the Na'vi people? Because remember, he what they call him,
he's a warrior, he's like the guy.
Tenoch Teclan.
The big sky dragon.
Yeah, when he says calls to you, that amazing speech he gives.
Right.
And you ready to go fucking war for that guy.
Yeah.
That would be a massive blow. We 100%. Lost our hero. So I do think that it's a story beat that would propel the story and kind of launch it forward, especially considering we're getting one of these every other year for the next 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. So
I would put money on that theory, my friend. I think you have a good intuition on that.
Very interesting.
That might happen. Right.
Yeah, but that's my thoughts really. Honestly, underwater stuff looks beautiful. It's just the movie just looks gorgeous.
Oh, it's just like mind-boggling to think that almost all of the amount of VFX
almost everything you see is
in this
fake.
I think is just going to be record-breaking. It must.
It's amazing. It was
almost all of it is in some shape or form VFX, and it's just it's like just the best I've ever seen. The fidelity is insane, man.
Yeah,
it's just
the fidelity is nuts.
I don't even know. Like, are they just like going through render farms every day, just like tires on a fucking F1? Well,
funny thing is,
changing them out every goddamn day because they're smoking.
We know someone's dad who was like a DIT on set.
Is it Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy's father was a DIT on set, and he couldn't say much from what he was allowed to tell us.
Dead.
But he was able to say that, it's massive farms of computers literally rendering as they go. So you're already coming out with CGI scenes in the bag. And then it goes to post, and then it goes to post, and then it goes to cleaning, and then it goes to making wiping and shining it up. It's nuts. So
it's nuts. I can't. I mean, it's gonna win, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know it sounds kind of like preemptive, but I'm like, come on. Like, it's just, it has to. It has to win for that.
Do yourself a favor. Watch this movie, and then do not watch any Marvel property from this year or last year. Do not watch any of that for like a month and a half, because you'll see it and your eyes will literally hurt.
Especially that I know, and especially that fucking Moon Knight scene. All right. Well, speaking of MCU, let's move on to the next topic.
I think we're killing it today.
Thank you. I mean, I'm trying. But yeah, the next piece of news that we have is the Wonder Man Disney Plus show from the studio of Marvel Studios and Disney. Right. One of the next Disney Plus shows coming, which I don't think they have a date for yet. It's just an announcement that it's going to happen. But for Wonder Man, this again, very niche character that I believe that almost nobody knows about. But along with that announcement also came its main star, which is Yahya Abdul-Mateen. For those who don't know who he is, he's rising pretty quickly. He's a great actor. Most recently, he was in Candyman and in Ambulance, I believe. Right, that was him in Ambulance. And that was him in I fucking hate that title. And he was, I think, most famously known for his role as what's the name? Black Manta. Black Manta. And Aquaman. Yeah. He plays that guy. And he's now in the MCU as Wonder Man. Now, I'll ask you for your initial thoughts in a second, but mine are, great. He's a great actor. I just fucking hate, how I feel about him in his performance of Aquaman. I don't think that was his fault. Yeah. It's fine. That stare will be with me forever, but that's okay. And so I think, again, I don't know a lot about Wonder Man. Besides the little that I read last night, and maybe you can go into that a little bit after this, but yeah, cool. Here, I'll put it this way: if Sarah Haley Finn is casting it and she said yes, then that means it's gold. Just
that's a good way to put it.
Period. Besides Brie Larson, which I think is like the biggest misstep they've had, which again I don't think it's like Brie Larson's like acting. I think it's probably going to be fine. I think it's good. I'm sure it's going to be great casting. I don't know Wonder Man. That's the thing. Is like I have nothing to bounce that off of, so I'm sure he'll do great.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Wonder Man in the comics, his name is actually Simon Williams. He is a kind of like this smart guy who has this. His dad has. And I'm sorry, there's somebody mowing a lawn out in front. So sorry about the extra noise. He has this.
I can't hear.
Basically, this exact same kind of. He's Tony Stark, but he's not as cool as Tony Stark. So he has this company, and then he loses the company because Tony Stark gets all the glory, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he's mad at Tony Stark, and he knows Tony Stark's Iron Man. So he goes and he wants to beat up the Avengers. So he goes to Baron Zemo and Enchantress, and they give him powers. And then he starts, whooping ass on the Avengers. And then he decides to switch sides in the middle of the fight because why not? Yeah. And he whoops ass on the bad Avengers. And then he starts to die because Baron Zemo can. The only way he can stay alive is if Baron Zemo gives him an antidote to keep him alive every so often. The interesting bit is that the Avengers kind of save him, his brain at least, and they use that brain to build Vision, which is where it comes into. I think it could come into facts. Like he like loves Wanda as much as Vision loves Wanda, and that's like a thing in the comics.
Oh no way!
Yeah, that's like a thing in the comics. So I think
I didn't know that.
Wanda's eventually going to get a real boyfriend in Yahya instead of Vision, or it could be a different thing. We could see him in Vision Quest. That's been a rumored
I was going to say, project. I forgot about that. That was one of the other news that we totally forgot, was that there was a Vision
Quest rumored,
Disney Plus movie or show,
whatever. We don't know. But anyway.
I'm sure we'll see him there, whichever comes first.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure we'll see him. Destin Daniel Crichton is actually going to be like the executive producer / showrunner on this.
Shit, dude, that guy just skyrocketed.
Yeah, dude,
Shang-Chi, man, skyrocketed.
Yeah, he really did. So good for him, you know?
Absolutely, I love Shang-Chi.
Yeah, me too.
I think I wonder if it's still my top of Phase 4. Might be.
No Way Home is your top of Phase 4.
On a surprise level, yeah, but I mean, you know, again, that movie had like a lot of like things on its shoulder already, so it's hard to put it up against some other things. Anyway, well, that's another talk. But
I think we should do a final
Phase 4
tier ranking.
Tier?
Once we see or can actually talk about Wakanda Forever. But yeah, that's Simon Wilson. In the newer comics, he's actually an actor. And he picks up roles as a stuntman because he's invulnerable, can't die. And he has super strength and stuff. So he picks up roles as a stuntman, and then eventually he becomes a main leading man. And funny thing is, in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Nathan Fillion was cast as him in that movie. And remember the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when that whatever ego plants in the Iowa, the state of Iowa,
in the beginning,
and it starts growing, right? When he starts to like execute his plan and it starts growing and destroying stuff, there was going to be a scene passing a movie theater with Nathan Fillion on movie posters as Simon Williamson starring in. So
that's so frustrating, man, to hear, because I love me and my Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion is a nerd's best friend, right?
He is, and I get it. He's white, so we can't have him. It's fine.
He's also a little bit older.
Yeah, but I don't give a shit. He's so good. Like he has such charisma, but he's been trying to break into the nerdom for so long, and that's why I feel bad, because really he's still only known for Firefly for the most part, and like Castle, but like only to like middle-aged women.
Yeah,
I'm joking, but. But he's a true nerd, okay? And he's been trying to be in Uncharted and in Halo, right? And he got into Halo 5. He's actually pretty prominent, but he's been trying to get into this and everyone's wanting him. No one's just saying like, yeah, fucking give him something. So just to know that he could have been in the MCU as someone again, and now it's like not happening. It's like kind of hurting my soul, but it's fine.
I'd love to see him as like Nova or something, like the original Richard Rider. That'd be cool. Really dope.
You're right though. He's old enough now to just be like the dad of one of the, and then but still like he's got it in him, man. He could be Reed Richards. Don't play with me. No, it's not going to happen, man.
No, it's not going to happen.
I would accept it. I would accept it.
He's the same. He's got to be close to the same.
Or the Thing. Like he has that like kind of. He could be the thing.
That would be a cool casting choice.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't. Be
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's not happening. Anyways, keep going.
So So Nathan Fillion was going to be him in that Guardians of the Galaxy film. You weren't actually going to see Simon Williamson, but you would see the posters and know that was him. So that's Simon Williams now. So what this means for the show, I don't know. It does, Ed, actually kind of worry me a little bit based on She-Hulk. This could be like one of those super meta shows, and I just don't think She-Hulk worked at all. And like, it would be really funny to like have a TV show of this guy being a struggling actor in LA. He's being a stuntman because he's invulnerable, and it could be funny. But I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence in Marvel pulling it off, so I don't know which path they go with this, but
no, it's a great point. The only solace I have is that this is obviously sort of newer, I think, ish. So it's not really maybe being developed around the same time as like 2 years ago. So hopefully they can like maybe right some wrongs from the things that they've been, doing. That's the only other thing. Yeah, it totally could. Who knows, right? It's like we only learn about Marvel's, where they are on the scale of bad to good based on the next thing that they put out, and so who knows, we'll see once the next couple of things comes out first, and maybe we'll start to see, and then we can if they've been righting some wrongs, and then maybe this could follow. We'll see, but we don't know anything else about this property as of right now, just to be clear,
just to be completely clear. It's just just the news. But
it's great. Either way, it's cool. It's exciting. It's great news as always.
Although here's
the question that I have for you that it popped into my head when I heard about this. Do you think that Marvel's going a little trigger happy with the niche characters? Do you think that there's too many? Because I think so. I think when I heard about this, Wonder Man, I'm like, wow, another one, huh? Another superhero that we have to learn and and because remember the thing about phase 1 through 3 that worked so well is that it was clear. The end game and the picture of who would be there and what was going to go down was clear. And we were just sort of needing to wait for them to appear on screen. But now I feel like in phase 4, you get a lot of these characters that we don't know and that and that they're only giving half a movie to a movie's worth of really needing getting to know. I get it. Okay, 6 hours of a show, but still it's a show is still a show as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't feel like a movie to me. And I feel like there's too much. And again, Secret Wars, I get it. I'm sure all the fucking heroes were in the comics, but still they don't have to do that. This is the movies. And I feel like they could still just make better stories and not maybe do so much. And I just get the feeling that, okay, this is just another one that we have to learn again. And after She-Hulk, after Miss Marvel, after Moon Knight, after Werewolf by Night, after all these other things that are popping up, the Eternals, there's so many new people. And I can't help but feel like maybe we should have gave a little love to the people who are still here from phase 1 and 3, maybe split it down the middle as to new and old. But I just feel like it's kind of bugging me. What do you feel? Am I going crazy? Do you agree? What?
No, you're not going crazy. I think because listen, we've gotten a bunch of new characters existing within the MCU, and a lot of these new characters are either being introduced as their own shows or as a torch passing show.
Sure.
So Miss Marvel got her own show, but Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, here's the torch passing to you. Or Moon Knight. Yeah, and I do think it is a lot. I completely agree. And I don't know if it's too much or if it's lack of execution on it. Because look, we have 6 hours of Moon Knight and we have not really a great idea of the character other than the fact that we know that he really can't control it other than that one scene that we got. And we know that his mom was an asshole to him, and that we know there's a third personality, but we see none of the personality. They just cut. So there wasn't a lot of they're not developing the characters, and that's my bigger problem with it versus too many.
There's too many.
But hey, maybe it's because there is too many. They're trying to introduce too many. And again, like you said, phase 1 through 3, the reason you loved Cap and Iron Man for so long is because they were the cornerstones for so long. You got to know them. You got to be with them forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And even Banner in this, even in She-Hulk, he's diminished to a background role for a character we don't really care about as much. Maybe She-Hulk is going to be a big part of the MCU going forward. I don't know, but you should balance it better. So I do agree with you, and I don't know if it's too many characters or if it's just lack of execution on a lot of the characters. And again, maybe it's something that works in tandem, because I think that because of too many, you have way too little time to actually develop everything.
Right. I think it's both. I definitely think it's a little bit of both. Well, no, it's definitely more. I think we can agree that the execution has been clearly wonky,
flawed.
Flawed for sure. And but maybe it's a little bit of too many characters too. But I'm sorry. I'm feeling that. I'm starting to feel it now. When you hear about these announcements, right, and you're just here's this other hero you really don't know anything about, and it's coming, and we're okay, great. Can we talk about Doctor Strange? And what you did with him? I feel like that's what everyone's talking about now. It's just but you got kind of you have some work to do to fix some characters still.
The last thing you mentioned was should we focus a little bit more on the phase 1 through 3 characters? Yeah, you should, but you should actually execute it well, not do what you did in Love and Thunder, not do what you did in Multiverse of Madness, which is, you push them aside to tell the story of somebody else. If it's Wanda's story or if it's Jane's story, which like
in their movie, right?
Yeah. Like you're putting Jane front and center of us, but you're not giving a reason for the audience to care or give a fuck about Jane again. Like, cool. Right. She can say a stupid one-liner, eat my hammer. Like that doesn't do it for me. You have to like, I care about, I'm sorry. It's not even like a sexist thing. Audiences care about Chris Hemsworth. They don't have a reason to care about Jane. They don't. You have to build it up, and you didn't do that. You haven't done that in anything. Like audiences care about Doctor Strange at this point. They don't necessarily care about Wanda Maximoff because you made the jump to her being so fucking quick.
Yeah. Right. I know. Exactly.
You laid a decent foundation with WandaVision and then you tore it all down with Multiverse of Madness.
It's pretty clear they thought that they did enough though in WandaVision. And it's like, no, you didn't.
So again, I mean, I can rant about, we can save our rant about MCU Phase 4. When we shall. There's a whole, after Wakanda Forever, we will definitely have a recap of that.
But until then, why don't we move on to some Sony Spider-Verse news, which is something that doesn't come up very often. No. But I'm going to throw this one to you because you're actually the one who brought it up before we filmed. And what's going on? What's going on in the Spider-Verse?
Super quick with it. So Sony is confirmed for CCXP, which is the Brazilian Comic-Con. It's, as some people have said, it's the third biggest Comic-Con out there behind Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con.
Is that for real? I didn't know that.
It is for real. It is a massive, massive deal. Sony has announced a lot of stuff. They premiered the first Venom trailer. I think the first Venom 2 trailer dropped there. So this is like, I think this is Sony's Comic-Con at this point. Like Marvel typically skips out of this. And if you're Sony, like we don't typically compliment Sony all that much, but like, this is a smart move from Sony because like you're going to get drowned out in Marvel, just like DC. Like they had this great Black Adam presentation and then Marvel kind of came and announced a bunch of shit and you weren't even talking about DC. Right. So I think this is very smart from Sony, but they confirmed they will be there and they said, yo, get ready. There's going to be some big surprises. So to keep this as short as possible, what do you think is the big quote unquote surprise from Sony? Do you think it's I want something big. I want something big.
Well, we talked about this a little bit before the camera started rolling, but I mean the biggest thing for me and the biggest thing that I think would just set the house on fire is announcement of Andrew Garfield coming back for another movie. I think that would be a Tom Holland movie. Yeah, I think that's what people would want for sure too and expect. But the one that people wouldn't expect and that they would want is a Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 3, which again everyone's clamoring for it. If there's one thing about No Way Home is that people fucking loved Andrew Garfield and Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man on screen.
Yeah.
And if they were smart, they would and want easy money, they would give that man a Spider-Man 3, 100%. Yeah. So that would be amazing. Yeah. What are they going to do it? I don't know, but period. That's what I think would be the biggest news.
Yeah. So for me, the biggest surprise I think would be, I mean, yes, I agree with you, but if there was a follow-up to that, sure, I think it would be a confirmation of some sort of Spider-Geddon movie. Where the
Geddon, yeah,
Spider-Geddon, like
Armageddon,
like a full Sony-verse Spider-Man movie with, hey, you want Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's there, Tom Holland is there, guess what? Tobey Maguire is there, and also all the one and only Andrew Garfield is there.
Yeah,
and I think that would bring the house down, and that would be like if Sony's looking for $1 billion movie. That's your $1 billion movie. Regardless 100%. Of how the reviews come in and out of it, you're going to put all those people on the screen together to fight together for a common goal. I think it works. So I think to me that's that would be the biggest surprise to me.
And well, here's
when you see surprise, that's what I want.
Yeah, and I think we're getting that a little bit with Spider-Verse movies. Or the Spider into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse, whatever.
On
an animated level, I think we're probably going to be pushing to that in some way in those movies. But the live action version, I mean, obviously, yes. I don't think they're putting all this money and effort into getting all the villains up in their own solo movies. And introducing these new spider people in Madame Web that we've seen in the leaks for nothing, right? I'm sure they're going to have their own Avengers Spider-Man movie, the team up movie for sure. Otherwise, why even do all this? It doesn't really make any sense. And Morbius, how can we forget about Morbius? It's Morbin time. I can't believe how big that fucking meme got. I don't even laugh at that much. It's
Morbius
crazy.
was number 1 in the world when it dropped on Netflix for like a week and a half. People ate that shit up.
I don't understand.
So, I think they could release a sequel straight to Netflix. Don't fucking put it out in theaters. But
I hope it. I pray to God it is straight to Netflix, because I cannot sit in a theater and watch that again if they're going to go the same route.
Right.
But
you need to be drunk at home watching it.
Yeah, I mean, a Spider-Verse, Spidey get-in. I think 100%. That'd be cool. And yeah, you're right. It's honestly, what's more likely? That's more likely than Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I think so.
But God damn it, in a world where here's why I think it's more likely than not, is that we just got Hugh Jackman back for Deadpool. And so I'm saying is that the whole thing where this stuff is possible now and Sony wants to have a piece of the pie, they want their little piece in that whole equation. I don't see why they couldn't totally. I'm sure they've been talking to Andrew. Now, it's been settled, I don't know, but I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I definitely would put some chips on that, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's the little Sony note. So I guess we'll have to see. But
we'll have to see. To see. Okay, it's time to move on to the main event of today's podcast, and that is Barbarian. This is, I think, the first thriller horror film that we're like outside of like the mainstream that we're actually reviewing. Like Halloween Ends is like a sort of thing that I feel like we had to do, but Barbarian, I think it's the first time we're kind of like choosing to watch something. Right? Yeah, exactly. Which is very exciting, and I'm really excited to talk about this movie today because I have some thoughts on this. But before we do, let me give a little like a short background on the movie. So Barbarian came out in theaters actually a bit of time ago. What was the original date? September 9th, this movie came out originally. And since then, it's been getting sort of this sort of gaining this cult following of praisers, people who are calling it, you said people are calling it classic. I've mostly heard people just raving about the film and like, it's one of those, you have to see it. One of those, like, you haven't seen it. Thriller horror films, that's those sleeper hits, I guess you could say. That everyone's been clamoring to tell us to watch, and it's now on HBO Max, and so that's why we were able to watch it because we get to watch for free, quote unquote. Right. But yeah, this movie is directed by Zach Kreger. I believe it's Krieger or Kreger. It's one E, so I think it's Kreger. Who I don't really know him, to be honest. I don't know what he's done. So he's a fairly new director. But it was made on a budget of 4.5 million, so pennies. And at the box office, it made 43 million. So again, you can see the sort of like sleeper hit that kind of came out of this. And again, everyone's been talking about it. It stars Georgina Campbell as the main character or the main protagonist, and then Bill Skarsgård, who is famously known as who played the clown Pennywise. He did a great job in that, and it's nice to see him back here. And then a bit of a surprise, I guess, for those who didn't know, but Justin Long is in this movie, and we'll talk about that for sure. And Kate Bosworth was in this movie. Did you know that? Did you know that she plays Melissa?
No,
I didn't. I looked it up last night. I was like, Kate Bosworth? What the fuck? Like, you don't hear about Kate Bosworth a lot anymore, and she's in this movie. She plays that woman.
Doesn't look like her at all.
I didn't even bat an eye to it. Anyways, yeah. So Barbarian. This was the I guess sleeper horror hit of the year that everyone's clamoring about. I finally got to watch it. Everyone's calling it one of the best things ever they've seen this year in horror. And I got to tell you, man, I don't share that sentiment. I did not end up liking this movie as much as I thought I would in the beginning of the movie.
Let me ask you something before we go on. Did you watch any trailers or anything before watching this movie?
No, I didn't watch any trailers. I saw obviously like some stills, and I did know the basis of the movie. I knew it had to do something with Airbnb. That's all. Okay. That's as far as I knew. Okay, I didn't know anything else.
I didn't know. I didn't even know the Airbnb stuff. Okay, sure. Continue.
Okay,
continue.
Yeah, I knew about that, and I knew there was like Justin Long in it in some like weird way. That's all I knew.
Well, I didn't even know Justin Long was in it.
Yeah, so you didn't know. I already knew by then that like Justin Long was in it because I saw his name thrown around. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I everyone's going crazy over it. I think the movie's well put together. I think the direction's great. I think it's shot well. Honestly, I really think that this director I think has is good.
Chops.
And I
he's
like
got
him.
some chops. Yeah.
And Act 1 is a great example of that. I loved Act 1.
Yeah.
Act 2 and 3 though, I had a lot of problems with. Okay. And we'll talk about this later. But I just want to say now that the twist, that Act 2 twist of like the AJ, the Justin Long, I really actually think ended up being detrimental to the rest of the movie. I think it was good in theory, but I think it actually hurt the rest of the film. And I think it fucked it all up for me. Okay. And so we'll get into that. But before we do, Alex, what did you think of Barbarian?
You know, Ed, one of these days we're going to disagree on a movie. Shit. But I will say this. Go back to the dual screen of us really quick. Okay. Because a couple years ago, you and some other very, very good friends of ours, of ours, had me watch this movie called Parasite.
Yeah, very small indie film.
And Ed and our friends watched me watch this movie. And they watched my jaw drop. They watched me the ups and downs. And it was probably it was in like the heart of 2020. Like it was bad times. Everybody was down on everything. It was one of the bright spots of being stuck at home, I will say, because it was fun. And them watching it was just great. This movie felt like Parasite light to me. Mm-hmm. And for that reason, I didn't love it as much because all I kept thinking was, this feels like Parasite light, but just not as good as Parasite. Yeah. And look, I completely agree with you. I think this Zach Krieger guy, he is clearly he's got some talent.
He has what it takes. The
cinematography was great. Everybody loved, I think, to think that, they think this one person's going to be the guy. And I was like, nah, that's too easy. He's not going to be the guy.
It's clearly not.
And there were some really great visuals and parts of this movie. And another thing that I want to bring up that a lot of people say about this movie, because I didn't know this until after I read it. They're like, it doesn't have the stupid, dumb horror movie choices that people make, which I would completely dislagree with.
What an egregious statement. Oh, hell no.
Like there is literally a scene when they wake up in the morning and they see this, this fucking one house in this entire neighborhood is fucking, and everything else is a shit show. Like your immediate brain should be like, I'm out. I'm fucking out. Call the dude and get the fuck out. Don't ever go back. Like it's not even hard.
Well, the whole you should turn around now. That happens literally every 10 minutes in this movie.
It's screaming at you. So,
which is fine. That's not a problem.
Trope. That's a horror movie trope.
The fact that someone said, it does away with that. Hell no.
Not someone. A lot of people say.
Really?
Yes. A lot of people say, the main character makes a lot of smart choices, not like other horror movies. No. She doesn't make a lot of smart choices.
She makes some smart choices, but
I would be more respectful if you said something like,
the important ones.
It's her good nature and her to continue to do these choices. That makes more sense than saying she makes smart choices. She doesn't make smart choices, in my opinion. But again, one of these days we're going to find a movie we completely and totally disagree on. But we sort of disagree because I don't get the hype. I won't lie.
Me either. I don't either.
I do see it does crumble to me at some points. And I do agree with you with Act 2. It starts to crumble with me. Maybe not so much Act 3. I thought it kind of picked up the parts a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think there's a moment. I was kind of in on all the horror until the moment when this, I don't want to give anything away. This thing, basically the main creature.
Well, I think we'll
go full spoilers.
I think we need to go full spoiler
full spoilers.
When the main
creature, whatever the fuck she is,
the incest
monster, literally rips off somebody's arm and beats somebody to death with the own arm. And I was in on it, and then that happened, and I was like,
well, that whole fucking scene where the guy's like, oh yeah, she'll never, I've been living here for 15 years. And then she busts through the door right when he says that.
I actually laughed really hard at that because I think it was meant to be funny. Yeah. Okay. It was meant to be funny.
Yeah, it's meant to be funny. But the problem I had with that was like, tonally though, I don't think it really fit. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
It was that kind of movie because it was so perfect. And I was like, what? Yeah. Okay.
But overall, like, I think it starts really well. And look, I think there's clear like social commentary that the movie's, not so subtly trying to make. And I think it does so in a pretty effective way. But again, I think if you're gonna watch I would put Parasite as a horror film or some sort of suspense film. Yeah. And if you want to watch something on social commentary and class and all that stuff, go watch Parasite. It is a better version of this film, in my personal opinion. But I don't get the hype.
I totally agree with you with the fact that Parasite came to my mind as well, just with the whole it's a house, and it's also the twist that happened, and sort of it's such a right turn.
That Parasite twist, man.
So good. And this is in the same vein, kind of, it's in that vein. I thought of it too. But I definitely think it's actually I think that's actually a great compliment to the movie that you even call it Parasite Light. Which again, well, just it's fine, fair enough. I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing about the movie that really, I think for me, it started to go down, and that really is, and I mentioned earlier, I think it's the twist. The twist in theory, I think is great. On paper, it's like, yeah, we're gonna just shut the lights off, turn them back on, and we're with a random character that is new. It pops out of nowhere, and we're gonna change the tone a little bit, and everyone's gonna be flabbergasted, and but we're gonna pick it back up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like that's a very bold choice. I always give props to filmmakers who do bold choices and go for it, and that's awesome. Here's where I feel like that twist failed, though. It gave us a character, AJ, played by Justin Long, who clearly is someone that is there for you to hate.
Yes,
and absolutely. That's it. That's the problem, is that he ends up being just a character to hate.
Yeah.
Like answer me this question. If you take him out, does it change anything? I don't think it does. Exactly. And that's where this movie really fails, is that it spends so much time. It spends a lot of its surprise value on that twist and on that character to give you there's no value to it though, other than the twist. And then we spend so much time with him. There's an elongated sequence where he's like, which is funny. He's so oblivious to the house and what's going on that he's like measuring square, and because he's just trying to think about selling the house.
Yeah.
Pretty funny for maybe like one scene, but it keeps going and going. And it's just clear that he's a dick, and and he's oblivious, and you get that. I got that quick. But I mean, I don't know. Like after that, I was like, well, what does this have to do with anything? Right. Like I get it. He's a LA white dude raped a girl, and he's despicable.
Right.
Absolutely.
And when he gets it at the end, you're almost cheering that he gets it.
Sure, but that's all it was for. Like all it was for was that, so at the end you see someone die that you absolutely abhorred, but it says nothing about the social commentary as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
It has nothing to do with any of that. That's where I really feel like the movie failed me, and I feel like where it really goes down the rungs is that twist its utility to make a better story wasn't realized. It was really just to have this sort of wow factor,
right?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's where the movie failed for me, and I think it fucked it all up.
I agree, and I get the social commentary, and like I was watching this with my wife, and she goes, "Well, he's a rapist. He deserves it." So like, yeah, again, it makes your exact point. Like he fucking deserves it. You know?
Of course,
you immediately dislike this person.
You're supposed to,
right? And he has this almost moment where he says, I did this to her. I have to help her. I have to help her. And throws the fucking girl off the water tower.
Yeah.
And of course the beast goes and shaves her. But I think I agree. Like, I think something that would have been way more effective is if when you caught her, when the monster gets her and drops her in that cage, right?
Yeah.
You cut to him in the cage with her already.
Right.
Going,
right.
Hey. And then
there's always somebody there.
Reaches her, and then you get his backstory that he is a rapist and he is a piece of shit.
Exactly.
But maybe he can redeem himself, or maybe you can't redeem yourself from something like that.
100%, you are correct. I think narratively speaking, that would have been better than to had done what they did. Although again, it's not a bad choice. So it was a very bold choice, but it didn't come together. That's the problem. Yeah. Like it just narratively in its story, it totally dropped the ball, and it started to muddle everything.
Right.
And so it was a cool artistic tonal choice, but see, I agree with you. I think it could have done without him completely, or that where it's like he's already there and we sort of learn a little bit about how it came to be in that way, rather than like, okay, let's like stop the movie, do this whole thing, this whole bit, and it's almost another movie in and of itself, just to come back to that.
Right. And again, you get the social commentary that this person is supposed to be, you're supposed to hate this person and you're supposed to root for him to die, and there is no redemption arc for him because he is a piece of shit. And I get it. Yeah. But you almost want to see a little bit more of, we haven't even mentioned the third take of it, which is the serial rapist part. Yes. Which is the reason the creature exists, which I do think is a good fucking story.
Love it. Yeah.
That's a good part of the movie.
Dark. Yes.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Wow. Fucked up.
And from the moment you see it start to happen, this guy is fucked up. 100%. Because he goes into a store and goes, plastic sheets. And then when that happened, it automatically clicked in my head. I was like, oh shit, the fucking bed. The bed, they see this room, there's a bed and a video camera. And then there's that, pretty great scene, not really creepy, but when he's, Justin Long runs all the way to him, to that door, and you see the creature start to come up. This is actually a pretty creepy shot. Yeah. And then the creature backs off, which immediately should be like, in any character's mind, should be like,
exactly.
Fuck. I shouldn't go in this room.
Right. Why did she stop chasing me?
Yeah. Why did she stop chasing me?
Yeah. But he's an idiot, so it's okay.
Yeah. Then he goes in. He's so oblivious. It's annoying, almost
painful. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes in and he like puts in the tape and he sees what this person is doing, and then you get a little bit more confirmation that he was a serial rapist and he had babies with girls and then would rape the babies, and then they would have babies and rape those babies. That's why this thing is the way it is, because it's an inbred.
Yeah, it's just an inbred. Yeah. And
it's almost like a take, more horrifying take on Frankenstein. Which is the monster. Is it Frankenstein's monster or is it Frankenstein?
Right.
And I think that's
the creator.
Yeah, or the creator. Which one's worse? And obviously it's the creator.
It's obviously the creator, yeah.
Right. And I think that worked so well, but I agree with you. That middle portion of the movie just kind of it hit the brakes so hard on the movie that I was like, "Wow, we lost all the momentum." Because up until that point, I was pretty scared when I was watching Bill
100%
get his head beat in. I was like, "Oh, fuck."
That whole sequence!" I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, "Holy shit! Please don't go! Oh my god, do not go down there, you idiot!" But I'm liking this a lot. Yeah. And so, no, 100%. I think that was the big problem with the movie with me, is that I think it got carried away with its twist. It got carried away with that part, and they didn't do enough to supplement what it was to the narrative, and again, it's still fun. I think it makes a fun moment. I was having fun with it in the moment, but I just think it really didn't help its ending, and so I definitely don't. I can't say this is like a classic because of that. it hurts because I think the director did such a great job, particularly in the first act. The first act probably is the best horror I've seen like this year of modern horror,
hands down,
100%. I was so into it, and my favorite moment of like almost one of my favorite moments of cinema this year, I think, is that moment you mentioned, was when she walks out of the house in the morning, and it's all fucked up. And it's a brilliant choice because before that, the night before, you can't see shit.
Yeah.
You can't see a goddamn thing. Even though in reality you would be able to see, I still like it just adds that element of horror to it, where it's like it's a little eerie and off. And in the morning, it's just like, how the fuck did you not see this all night? But it's also terrifying. Like, I love that moment. I was like, wow, that's such a great practical effect, you know?
That was hands down one of the scariest moments of the movie.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it's in the daytime. That's what I loved about it too. It's in the daytime, and it just showed all the cracks. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And you're right, but I would get my fucking ass out of there. I don't need this job. Fuck it. I made a mistake with the Airbnb. I'm out.
You stay.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Not happening.
So to me, that was like probably the most effective part. Like 100%. Scare. I think something
brilliant filmmaking. I love
the other thing that was pretty effective is after the monster saves her in the most ridiculous scene. You were kind of grounded this whole time, and then the monster jumps off. That scene kind of was also insanely ridiculous. But after the monster saves her and kills Justin Long, you know, she tries to take her back, and you did something good when your heart breaks for the monster to die.
Exactly. That last scene was good.
Yeah, like that last scene where she's like, "Oh, come back," and she goes, "I can't take you. I can't go back."
But I wish they just built that up more. Like if they just took out the Justin Long stuff and built up this other story where like a more the Frankenstein. Like this could have been a play on Frankenstein more, like a modern take on it, where they maybe do get a little bit of a relationship more, like a few scenes where she understands what this thing really is. And then it would have been I probably would have cried if like at that final scene, she realizes, I know who you are inside, but you're too far gone. I can't let you live. Yeah. Like you have to understand, like you just beat a man with his arm.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Most primal instinct thing that could ever exist.
100%. And it would be even more crushing for her to have to make the hard decision to just kill her, you know, like because it's too far gone. You're not going to save this thing. You're just not, you know, and that would have been great. But again, the movie spends like fucking 40 minutes on this overextended Justin Long's a piece of shit. Yeah. And
another thing that I thought failed on the like social commentary part was like, yeah, we get it. You hate Justin Long. He's a piece of shit. And like, there is no redemption arc for him. So yeah, we get it because that's what you're trying to say. But like, I didn't like the fact that the creator or this bad guy, I don't know his name,
killed himself.
Yeah, he gets to kill himself. He gets to decide what his punishment is. I would have, I think it would have been so much more effective if it was the main girl that was able to kill him.
Oh, 100%. That would have been so liberating, I think.
Like, I think it would have been so much more effective if she runs to that door and goes in that door and sees what this man is. And then she takes the gun and pulls the trigger.
Again, narratively speaking, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Yeah, I understand why they didn't go that route. But yeah, I mean, I would have preferred that on a narrative level. It's fine. Yeah. Because I thought it was a little cheesy. Like he believes this random person that he just met, who's clearly a fucking moron, that there's cops outside. And he's like, okay, this is the time. I guess I'm gonna off myself now. Yeah. Like,
how the fuck did that guy stay alive for so long?
I don't know. Where's the food and shit? Like,
what's he eating?
Well, he says that they mentioned that the beast does go outside at night.
The beast does go outside at night.
Maybe he eats the people she brings down. I don't know. It's fucking fucked up, man. Like, I don't know. It's all fucked at that point. But okay, I agree with you on that. The other thing that socially speaking, if the movie dares to, if this is what they were going for, is the fact that Justin Long's character gets that moment where he's like, maybe I'm a good person who did a bad thing, right? I actually really was like, okay, maybe there's like some hope for this guy, but they just shit the bit on. Like they just put it. They almost made fun of it, and I didn't like that because it's like, well, what are you saying? That people aren't allowed
redeemable.
a second chance.
Right.
Like because you could have just totally kept him a piece of shit, and that's fine. But the fact that you gave him that moment, and it was like clearly a choice to make, okay, maybe we should have them have a little bit of this little light for him. And then to completely take it away in 1 minute, that's not a good message to me. I didn't like that.
Yeah. I mean,
because it was such a deliberate choice. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's such a deliberate choice.
Sense, the director is sort of saying rape is irredeemable.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
So,
but
why even let him have that chance, you think?
Yeah. Well, why play it that way?
I think maybe,
I think it was too sincere. Like, if you, I do believe that rapists have that thought, right? I mean, of course, when they're caught and they go to court or whatever, yeah, sure, I'm sure they have a come to God moment. That's not what I'm bagging, but it was the tone of the scene that I felt like was trying to manipulate you a little bit. Like, because like, tell me that scene wasn't trying to get you to feel like, okay, maybe he could be redeemed.
Yeah.
If it was just done a little bit differently, I've been like, yeah, okay, he's a piece of shit. I still want him dead. And okay, sure, he has this thought, but I'm sorry, but sorry, man. Like, you just had to go. But that scene was making me starting to feel like, okay, so will he save her? Will he save her and still go to jail? He could still go to jail, and he still deserves it, right? Like, there's that ending too, where maybe he helps. They come out of this, but he still goes to jail. Because that's what should happen or whatever. Yeah, but the fact that he just becomes a piece of shit again, I'm like, well, then why even have that scene? I don't really understand the point. And so I thought that was a little manipulative. I didn't like that scene. So that's my take on that. Yeah. I didn't really love the way that was done.
I don't have a for or against that scene really, so I really can't give a counter argument to it. Sure. But yeah, this overall, based on the hype. This is the problem with hype, right? It never kind of lives up to the hype. I don't know. Like, what's a movie that was hype that you didn't live up to? Okay, Parasite lived up to the hype.
I mean, Parasite, yeah, obviously lived up to the hype. I mean, obviously Top Gun Maverick. I mean, if you talk about movies that like already had some legs, and then we heard about it.
Like,
I mean, that's obviously a special case for anybody. But if I were to think of something that like was hyped up and like lived up to it, yeah, I mean, it's rare. It's rare that it like lives up to like the hype that it really sets out.
This morning, I watched it last night, and this morning I saw so many like video essays saying it is a horror classic. It is a horror masterclass. And like, I get like, yeah, good horror should have stuff like that where you care about the monster all of a sudden, where you realize that there is more, like, just because something is so evil or like looks so evil doesn't mean that is actually the worst thing out there. Like, that stuff is good. And the other like social commentary, like, I think there's kind of a little bit of social commentary going on about gentrification. You know, there's this whole house, this whole fucking neighborhood that's ruined, and people can't live in it because this Justin Long asshole is Airbnb this place.
Making money off of it.
Yeah, you know, like, I get that.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, but overall, in terms of a horror movie,
it's definitely not a classic.
I've seen better.
I've definitely seen a lot better.
Yeah.
But again, I also think that was only because it got carried away with its boldness there. I think if they just kept to whatever Act 1, like, just keep doing what you were doing in Act 1, I would have been like, this could be a horror classic, 100%.
Yeah.
But when you look at Act 2 and 3 against Act 1, you cannot tell me that is the same exact movie that was playing in Act 1.
Yeah.
You know, unlike when you watch Parasite, even with that humongous right turn, it was still tonally and everything felt the same. It felt like the same movie you were watching. So this, I think, went a little bit too far and didn't pull it back in, and I think kind of hurt it, in my opinion. But again, it didn't hurt it because it's doing bonkers. It's got like a 80? Is it in the 90s? Certified fresh?
In the 90s, bro.
Yeah, it's really high. And
92%.
Geez, that's really freaking high, man.
The audience score is 20 points lower. So that does say
what is that, like 70? Yeah. Okay, and I'm sure part of that is like people, it's not like that good, but it's good. You know?
according to I didn't know they did an audience consensus now, but
they do. Audience says.
The less you know going into Barbarian, the better, which is true.
I agree with that.
But be prepared for an ending that might rub you the wrong way.
There you go. Oh, does it say that? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a 20% right there then. So yeah, it's pretty clear that I think a lot of people probably are enthralled with the first act for sure, particularly on a technical level and just a showcase for this director. 100%. I think acts 2 and 3 are showing the holes of the script, which is I don't think is the director's fault all the time. Did he like write this too? Hold on, I'm trying to find out.
I don't know. This. Let's see.
It is also written by him fully.
Kreger, yeah. He used to be part of something called the Whitest Kids on the Block or something like that.
What the fuck? Okay. Sure.
It's like it's a New York City based comedy thing.
Okay.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, hey, I want to see more from him. I think he's great.
I
love what he did.
I think the best way to sum up Barbarian is a really kind of cool idea with too many twists, directed incredibly well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's directed really well.
Oh,
we can't get past. Great. Yeah, there is some talent right there.
Hands down. Zach Kreger. I mean, I can't wait. I just hope that do what you want. I just feel like maybe stick to the horror narrative, and like the next time you think about doing something really bold like that with social commentary, just I don't know, just try to weave it better.
Rein it in
a little bit. Yeah, because I think it got a little too far.
Completely agree. I finished the movie last night and I was just like, man, there was some really cool parts of that, but
it really was.
There was some like wasted time on a lot of shit. Like 100%. I just don't give a like. Of course you're happy Justin Long dies. He's a piece of shit.
Exactly.
You built him out to be a piece of shit the entire movie.
Exactly.
So
this is where again I think he's just this is where I can't help but get a little political, because it's like, here's a smart director who had a great act 1, who knows what he's doing. Yeah. And then here's a moment in act 2 where he felt like, well, I got to say something. And it takes, right. Look, I'm telling you, what other function does Justin Long have besides wanting to be hated? And how perfectly does that fit the narrative of today, where everybody just wants to hate someone? Right. And that's what I'm saying. I don't like that message. I don't like the message where like, here's just someone you can hate and you can cheer for, like, oh, look how stupid he is. Yeah. He's just like 10 minutes of that. Like it treated me like, I can't help but feel like, yeah, you're treating me a little stupid now. Yeah. Like I get it, man. Like I totally get it. And and I knew that he was better than that. Like watching the movie, I'm like, you're better than this. So why are we all of a sudden divulging into this? And I actually thought it was written by maybe 2 or 3 people because of how different the focus was from act 1 to 2. And then act 3 kind of reels it back in with the whole incest thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Like all this is great. Yeah. But the AJ shit was like,
really wish we got
intrusive,
more of the, serial rapist theory, like stuff.
100%. I think if it just like cut the fat a little bit, focused on that it would have been for a much more solid movie. But here's the thing. Would you still tell people to watch the film? Would you still encourage people to watch it?
I would, because I want to know if it's just me or now you, I guess, or if everyone thinks this movie's that spectacular.
Sure. Yeah. I would, me too. I would actually recommend this film. I think it's, again, there's a lot of good stuff in it. Yeah. And clearly most people do like it. So I would totally recommend it.
Directed well, got good pan shots, good, nice use of different kind of camera angles, a fisheye lens with, he's got his hands out with the.
Love it. Love it. He went through an really arsenal of stuff. Yeah. On a filmmaker level, you're like, wow, you really appreciate that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes.
The zoom outs when she's in the doorway and you see that zoom out and it's creepy. Like that stuff is great and stuff like this. So I would recommend it to see it just for stuff like that.
I 100% agree. And if I had my way, I would take act 1 and act 3, like butt those up together. And I think I actually would have been a lot better in my opinion.
I agree.
I just realized that this movie is only an hour 40. Yeah. And but I felt like it was longer. And I think, I think it's because of the Justin Long shit.
I felt the length.
I thought it was 2 hours. That's what I
paused it to get up to pee, and I was just in the middle of the Justin Long stuff, and I was like,
"See,
so
it's a little long."
And I thought we were pushing through this stuff, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt the same exact way. So
yeah, like that whole first act when and the way Skarsgård acts in this is really great because he is playing that guy that like you have to play now, the modern guy that like listen, I know you saw I didn't put anything in your tea. I don't mean any harm to you. Here, if you want to, I'm going to open this bottle, but I figured I'd wait till you get out of the shower because I want you to see that open. I didn't do anything to it. Like that, unfortunately, because other men are assholes, let's be honest, you shouldn't trust them. So you have to act that way. And I thought all that was like really brilliant.
Well done. Absolutely well done. And Skarsgård totally sells it. Like you don't know if you should trust it. Like the whole part of Act 1 is to make you believe it's him. Yeah. Right. And this dance of like, oh man, maybe it's not him. I don't know. Yeah. Like he didn't open the door. Like he's obviously he plays this character perfectly. Yeah. Perfectly. And he's a gem as well. And the performances all around were great. Yeah. My wife was like,
my wife said the movie would have been better if Skarsgård was just the bad guy and was going to do bad stuff to her.
Oh, see?
Like,
wow. Olivia was just like, fuck this like artsy shit.
She was like,
the movie I think it is.
It was like, what the fuck is this monster thing? You said this was going to be like a thriller. What is this thing?
Wow. So, okay, see, look, she had a completely adverse effect to that.
She thought it was dumb, straight dumb. She's like, Justin Long deserved to die.
Respect.
Absolutely.
Respect, Olivia.
The serial rapist deserved to die. Absolutely. Obviously. But other than that, like, why did it have to be this fucking weird fucking monster thing? That was stupid. Like, so yeah, she was upset with him. This is a lady who has spent that. I want to say the better part of our 8 years together watching crime documentaries or any sort of crime thing. Her favorite show ever created was or is Criminal Minds. There's a new season coming out. She loves Criminal Minds. This lady can watch anything about murder and just be enthralled
that's
by
it right there though, is that she's used to like real what's reality. Right. And so like the whole incest monster thing, I was like, what disconnect. The fuck? So I was texting Ed during this and there was like, I said, let me look it up. Yeah, look it up. I respect.
I said, bro, what the fuck is this movie? And then like, cause that at that point, oh bro, what the fuck is this movie was when the monster comes out and like,
sure, I expected that
after beats the shit out of poor Bill Skarsgård, poor guy.
Great scene. Yeah,
great scene. And then I was like, what the fuck is this movie? And then it cuts to Justin Long, and then Justin Long's doing a bunch of, in the middle of it, the text that says "What in the actual fuck?"
You're right.
Is Justin Long measuring shit? I'm like, I literally in my head, I was like, how stupid can a person who sees this? Like, I get that he's a dumb person and only cares about making money, but who in their right fucking mind sees that tunnel and goes, everything's okay?
Yeah,
I'm good.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna measure shit. No. Come on, dude. Like, I would see it and I'd be like, I'm out. I would literally grab as much things as I could before leaving that basement and stack as much shit as I can in front of that trap door.
Absolutely.
And then I would go up the stairs, close the basement, stack as much shit as I can there, take a can of gasoline and make the house look like the rest of the neighborhood and burn it down.
Right, yeah. No, 100%. Like, I would have left with the rope.
Oh, yeah.
In the wall.
Even going,
and I wouldn't even pull the rope. Yeah. I would just see the rope and go, that's not normal.
Nope. Nah.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Nah.
Yeah. Nah. No. Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
But no, definitely stupid decisions in this movie. And again, it was one of those things where you're just like, okay, I get it. I get it. He's the fucking white LA guy. But here's where I get really bothered.
He's easy to hate.
If you put this up against fucking the people we see in She-Hulk, you start to sort of see the circle of friends that maybe these social commenters think that represents the whole world. It's not. I don't know anybody really who is like Justin fucking Long. I really don't.
No, I don't know anybody.
I like to think that's because I choose better people to be around.
Yeah, maybe we do. But yeah, I'm sure there's people like him.
It just happens all too often now. Like this is like the stereotype of what people think is like real white people, white America. They're rich, stupid fucks who just they call each other faggot. Like what?
Oh yeah, that's the first time I've heard that word.
Thank you.
In literally
a long ass time,
at least 6 years
since I've said it when I was 12.
Yeah, before you knew it was around a long time ago, right?
Yes.
Like I was like, wait, people still say that word?
That's what I'm saying.
No,
like, that was the moment that was like, oh, he said faggot. He's like one of those guys. He said faggot.
Yeah, and that's where you really nailed the review of this film. It fell off the wagon so fast because you just were like, I get it. You're supposed to hate this guy.
You get it. You just get it.
Maybe layer him a little bit better, or like again, if you switch it up and you put him in that hole first.
Yes,
and you see, and he is torn apart. And he's the one that tells the girl, "You have to drink from that bottle." Or
like again, he does he deserves to be there.
Yeah, like right? You're like this. He's piece like,
oh,
of shit
my actions. This is why I'm here because I what I did.
Like it would have been great if there was like a conversation between them, and it goes, "Well, you deserve to be here."
Right.
And he goes, "What the fuck do you mean?" And then like there's that whole thing. But yeah, other than that,
if you wanted to play him oblivious. Go ahead. Yeah. But is he really people are not, I mean, I'm sorry, they're just not that stupid. But
I did like the cop scene.
It's funny though. Oh yeah.
Because I feel like cops would see her and be like, listen, lady, this is Detroit. We got a lot of fucking problems here.
100%.
We don't have time. We have no actual evidence to be going into this house.
Right.
I think that's how cops would play it.
Oh, I love that scene too. And again, talk about that's the better part of the social commentary. Like that's the part where I'm like, yeah, that actually makes sense to me.
That would happen.
I'm sure that happens.
Yeah,
it's terrible,
especially in cities like that, like where
where
like crime is, where they're probably understaffed. We don't know.
And the fact they just leave her is what's crazy.
Yeah,
like they don't even say like get in the car, we'll take you to the station.
But
like,
she doesn't even have ID for that. Yeah, so like again, like that's why I thought the cop scene was great because
I agree. That's
realistic. I literally said to Olivia, I was like, I think that's exactly what fucking happened.
Right.
Because I think they'd be like, listen, this lady's a crazy homeless person. She's nuts. But yeah, shit. there are, again, I do think this is a very well-directed film.
Well done.
But it's just not something that I thought was as good as the hype deserved to be.
No, so definitely not a classic. Mm-mm. We can at least say that. And I think that's fair enough.
I felt really good at the first part, then the scene cut and it went to Justin Long. And in the middle of Justin Long, I literally said under my breath, this feels like Hereditary. Feels like somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's pumped this movie up to be something that it's not. And this better get back on track.
Well,
fast.
This is where obviously I will disagree with you because I think Hereditary is a classic in that sense. No,
Hereditary is not a classic.
Tell me it's not Barbarian. Like you're not equating these movies.
I'd watch for Barbarian over Hereditary any day.
Fuck?
See, we wanted to disagree about something.
This is the one we've disagreed on. 100%.
I would watch Barbarian 100 times over before watching Hereditary ever again in my life. Hereditary is absolute trash that thinks it's smarter than it is.
My dog.
Midsummer too. Throw that one in there.
Midsummer I agree with. But Hereditary, oh god.
Wasted Florence Pugh. How are you gonna waste Florence Pugh?
She's great. She's great in the movie though.
Amazing Florence Pugh.
She's amazing in that movie.
She's okay in the movie.
She's awesome. Okay.
No. I'm not an Ari Aster guy. I think he's the most overrated director working in Hollywood.
Hereditary. I'll say that's all I was gonna say. I like Hereditary a lot.
You would rank this in your
Barbarian
ranking over
Hereditary?
Yeah. Under Hereditary, sorry.
Oh yeah. No. Oh, bro, I think Hereditary is a classic. It's the movie that scared the shit out of me before like Lake Mungo, I guess. Which would be next. But since like Paranormal Activity, basically. Like it's the only movie that messed me up. So 100%.
It didn't mess me up at all.
100%. I know. Hey, fair enough. But it did. I love that movie. I love that. I watched it like 3 times, and I don't care to watch shit that like makes me not sleep. And I push through it for that movie.
According to critics and audiences, they agree with me. Hereditary has a lower score, not by much, only 90%, and a lower audience score.
Yeah.
So
I get it, but I can't help my love for that movie. But wow. That's a big statement. Like to think, but I don't know. People think it's a classic. I don't know. I'm not seeing what they're seeing. Just as much as you're not seeing
I'm not throwing
people see in Hereditary.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen like a classic horror film.
True. I mean, to say classic, man. I mean,
what would catapult something like a classic horror film?
Well, again, I have Hereditary, but if let's say that doesn't exist.
Doesn't.
Yeah, man. I don't. Wow. No, I wouldn't say. Yeah. I think a lot of people would put probably like Robert Eggers' The Witch up there, probably.
I could see that.
But yes, not since Paranormal Activity.
Was there a classic?
Was there like a new classic?
A game changer horror film?
Yeah, like a game changer horror film. I wouldn't call Hereditary a game changer by any means. No. But I do think it is a culmination of the greatest horror, the best of horror. But that's
it was too me. It was too art house to be game changer, I think.
You think it was a little too art house? Okay.
I think Hereditary is a little too art house for me.
Oh, it's definitely an art house film. I agree with. That's for sure. Yeah. That's obviously an art house film.
Instant classic horror films. Interesting.
No, I think that's it. I mean, again, I really fucking love Lake Mungo.
I have to see that.
You should watch it. I really need to know what you think of that movie.
Yeah,
because I could go either way on that. Like I kind of get why it's fallen under the radar. Why maybe some people just don't. It just hasn't really surfaced. But I also think it's just wow. It's like so good. Like it's just so good. And I'd be curious. I want more people to watch that movie. Because I just don't understand why it is where it is. Like in the zeitgeist, I don't understand how a movie like that. Like if Barbarian can be up there, I surely think Lake Mungo can be, particularly again for how much it was made for. And again, Barbarian is made for $4.5 million. That is nothing.
Yeah,
and he made he churned out a lot. Just that act one, I'd be like, God damn, bro.
All those in-camera tricks.
Yeah.
All those no crazy special effects. Just the monster suit, whatever that lady was wearing.
Whatever that lady was wearing. Yeah. So good.
So it was a interesting time, but not the hype train that I was hoping for.
And definitely not for me. I ultimately did not like the movie, but goddamn, that Act 1 is so goddamn good, and it gave us a new director to look out for. That's all. That's the highest stuff that can give it. So we didn't love Barbarian, but if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Let us know what you think, and but at least most of the people have gotten a new horror film to put under their belt as things that they should watch. So, all right, man. Well, that's it for this week, I think, and next week, big week.
Yes, sir.
Big week, baby. Watch out for Wakanda Forever. It is premiering, and we're gonna have our thoughts.
Yeah,
Namor. I can't wait for you to watch that. I think it's gonna be we'll see though. I don't know. Maybe we'll actually disagree on it, but it's.
Chances aren't likely, but maybe.
All right, everybody. See you on the next pizza time. Bye-bye.
Later.